Hello. Hey, Facebook. All right. How you doing? This is my brand new tripod, which you can't see, obviously, because that's what's holding you guys in place. However, this is my new tripod, and this is my new hangout, so I've just been playing around a little bit with where to put it and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back. Alrighty. All right, we're back. Beautiful. So, let me have a little play around here. This is so much easier than having to balance it on everything. Woo! Check out how bright that makes my blue sports bra in there. Country. Wow, that looks scary. Look like dead. Interesting. We'll just go back to normal, shall we? All right. Cool. I'm trying to think, can I draw anything, but I probably can't. I was going to draw something, like when I talked about money and abundance, I drew those like dollar signs and stuff, so I was thinking, what do I draw? But I don't really know what to draw for fat loss, so I just won't, I think. All right, so welcome to today's live stream. My very first one using my tripod. I'm very, very excited. So I actually was thinking about this morning about fat loss, right? And I kind of had this idea that, you know what, I kind of need to take it back to the start a little bit, because as much as obviously this is something that I'm going to talk about that's really obvious to those in the health and fitness industry and in the fat loss industry, and it's just one of those things that's just so obvious to us, I forget that it's not so obvious to everyone else, right? So the thing I want to talk about, as you saw from the name of the stream, right, is actually, sorry, bear with me one more moment. I'm going to actually open up the window. I'll be right back. All right, that's better. Can you tell them that I'm a bit vain? I really, really hate when the camera makes my skin color look really strange. So I have to play around forever with different lightings and that kind of stuff. I feel like the daylight's better now. So, all right, let me get to it. So, one of those things that I forget a lot of the time is that not everybody is obviously in on the industry and knows the ins and outs of how it all works and everything. And I get reminded of this most days when I do meet someone who's coming into the gym for the first time. And it's pretty much just a given that, okay, maybe I'm going to say as high as probably 90 to 95% of people that come through to a gym, when you ask them what their goal is, pretty much about that majority, like that 90-95%, will say to you, it's fat loss. And a lot of the time this used to just confuse me, for starters, because obviously I know that that's not, you don't go to a gym for fat loss. But then I kind of realized I just don't think most people know this. And I think it's just something that people think that I got to lose some fat, so I'll go join a gym and that's what's going to happen. And like I said, once you're sort of in on it all, and once you're in the industry and you understand how things work, you understand how absolutely insane that is. And the fact that coming to the gym to lose weight is just, it's pointless. So let me explain to you what I mean. Fat loss is, as much as you want to complicate it or as much as you don't want to complicate it, at the end of the day, it's just how much energy you're putting out versus how much you're taking in. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not as simple as, you know, here's your BMR or whatever, your basal metabolic rate, and this is, you know, and then therefore you count the calories in the food. It's not that simple, and that's why a lot of people get really, really frustrated when they've got these magical numbers and they're not working perfectly, because there's a lot more that goes into it. There's absolutely hundreds of things that go into it. There's, again, how much metabolic damage you've done to your body in the past with yo-yo dieting, although that's, even less of a thing. But it's just there's lots of things. It's how hydrated you are. It's how active you are during the day. It's how hard you're actually working in your workouts. Like, a lot of things will factor in, okay, you're meant to burn this many calories during this intensity, but are you really working that hard? And that's really hard to track for a lot of people, to actually know, well, I don't know if I'm working hard enough. And a lot of the time people aren't. That's just the plain and simple fact. And I mean, I can go on and on and on, but there's just hundreds of reasons why it's not as simple as, here's a plan of how much you should be eating, you go eat that and you will lose this much. Our bodies are just not designed to be computers, basically. There's a lot more that goes into it, right? But at the end of the day, however you work it out or however it doesn't work out for you, that is what it actually comes down to, is how much energy your body is expending on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, versus how much you are eating and consuming on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And that's basically where you're at. If over a long period of time you eat way more than you expend of energy, then you're going to, actually, let me put those back up, then you're going to gain weight. If you expend more energy than what you eat, you're going to lose weight. If you're maintaining, if it's about the same, then you're going to maintain. If you're eating less than what you are expending in energy, then you're going to lose weight. It all equals itself out in the end. It just doesn't always make as much sense, right? So, having said that, it really confuses me a lot of the time why people think, okay, I'm going on a health kick, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go join a gym. And that's like their first thought is, I'm going to go join a gym. And I know it, because when they come and talk to me or to one of the other trainers or whatever and say, what are your goals? They'll say, I want to lose fat, I want to lose some body weight. And I feel like the first thing I really need to say, even though I don't want to say it because they've obviously come to the gym, is, well, why are you here? Because the way it works is, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. It doesn't work that way. I don't care if you add in, from where you are now, you add in 3 45-minute sessions of exercise every week, whatever it is that you choose to do, whether it's a class, whether it's cardio, whether it's weights training, whether it's CrossFit, whatever, you add in, say, those 3 sessions, and you keep eating exactly the same as you are, then yeah, okay, for the first couple of weeks, you might lose a tiny bit of weight, and then you'll just maintain. It's not going to make that difference. Your body will adapt very quickly, especially if you've chosen cardio. If you've just jumped in, gone, I'm going to join a gym, and then for 45 minutes you're on the treadmill doing some walking / jogging, or you're going to a body attack class, or you're going to whatever it is. If you're not actually doing anything to build your muscle and therefore build your metabolism and the ability that your body has to actually burn energy, well, then you're just causing an adaptation that in a few weeks is going to settle down, and your body's going to put on weight once again because it's adapted to that level of activity. And I think that's what most people don't understand, is that it doesn't matter if you put in the extra 3 sessions of a week of exercise that you're not doing at the moment. You might see momentary change, but it's not going to last, and it's probably going to come back up. Because at the end of the day, you have to start, if it's fat loss based, if it's weight loss based, you have to start with what you're eating. It's just as simple as that. And don't get me wrong, as you know, I am obsessed with exercise. Like, I will absolutely, I could not function without it. It's a daily habit for me. I have to do it. I have to work out every single day. I love weights, as you know, because I love having a high metabolism. I love having tone. I love having definition, and you don't get tone if you don't have muscle. So, because you can't flex fat, as I always say. But the point is, if you're not starting it with what you're eating and what your diet is, well, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to keep going around in circles. Most likely you'll see a little bit of results, and then you'll start having to up it and up and up it, and then you'll reach your limit, which for most people is probably, maybe 5 times a week. They kind of reach their limit. They're like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much exercise. I want to go do other things like sit on the couch or whatever it is. And they reach their limit, and so then they give up. And even worse, they've probably slowed their metabolism down by this stage because all they've done is cardio, so they've built no muscle, and so their metabolism's just going to go whoop, back down, right? Now, look, I'm not here to discuss metabolism and what makes it slow down and whether metabolic damage is real and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, that intricate level of stuff does not interest me, because I just think it's way too complicated for me to bother, and I doubt that anybody that if you're listening to this, you really want to know that deeply. If you do, then I definitely have people I can suggest that you can go check this out if that's one of the things. Just be careful that you're not looking for an excuse, because I know a lot of people go into this metabolic damage idea just basically looking for a reason why they can't lose weight, when it's just as simple as they're not expending more energy than what they're eating. But if that's something you want to check out, then definitely, I know plenty of people in the field, not personally, but I know of them. Lane Norton from BioLane is one of them that I followed for years, and he's incredibly intelligent and incredibly educated in that field. So that's definitely someone I would look up, and I've watched many of his videos over the years and read many of his articles over the years to do with metabolic damage and to do with all that kind of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, then go for it. But you know what? If at the end of the day, what interests you is lowering your body fat and losing some weight, then start at the beginning. Start with the basics before you go and, absolutely freak yourself out and go, I've probably done metabolic damage and this is why, and this is why, and this is why. Because once you start looking for excuses, you'll find them. That's how it works. You start looking for excuses, you find excuses. You start looking for results, you will find results. So you've just got to pick what you want. Do you want to look for excuses, and do you want to make this more complicated for yourself? Or do you want to look for results, look for how you're actually going to get it done, keep it simple for yourself, and then complicate it when you need to? But for most people, it doesn't need to be as complicated as they're making it, right? So going back to fat loss, right? So if you're, for example, coming to the gym, my recommendation when you first start for any exercise would be always, and it is always regardless, it's always going to be towards weight training. Now, I understand some people love, for example, running. If you're a natural runner, as you probably know, I'm not. I hate running. I could not do it for the life of me, especially long distance. I can probably handle some sprints here and there, but I'm not one of those people that loves running. And that's just a personality thing. Some people do, some people don't. You can learn it if you really want to. I just don't bother because I have no reason to. It doesn't help me with my goals, so I'm not going to force myself into it, obviously. However, if you don't really have anything that you're partial to when you come to the gym, then I'm going to suggest 100% start with a weights program. So when you see a personal trainer, when you see whoever it is that does like an induction or whatever for you, rather than coming to them and saying, I want fat loss, I was thinking of doing like maybe twice a week, 45 minutes on the cross trainer. Just come to them and ask them to actually show you some basic weight exercises if you've never done it before, and set you up on a basic program. And that is going to get you the absolute best results. It's going to take a few months if you've never done weight training for all of the neurological and all of the physiological adaptations to occur. In other words, all of the neurons are learning to fire in a different way so that they're actually understanding the way that your muscles work, the way your muscles contract. So that has an adaptation stage. However, once that happens, newbie gains, as they call them, right? So people who have never done weights before, they get great gains very quickly. And by gains, I don't mean you hulk up overnight. I mean as in you will be able to put on lean muscle much quicker than someone like myself who has been training weights for a good decade or more now. More than a decade. Where for me, it's going to be a lot harder because my body is, again, at that adaptation stage where it's gotten used to it, and I really have to keep pushing and pushing for more. However, when you're new, your muscles, once they take a few months first of all to adapt into it all, neurologically and physiologically, once that's done, then great, you get heaps more gains. You get that shape, you get that tone coming through much faster. But you've got to stick with it, right? And the added bonus of this is the more muscle you put on, the faster your metabolism becomes, so the more your body burns energy just by existing. So it's going to become a part and parcel of it that you're going to have fat loss. Now, if all you're concerned about is the number on the scale, that's a different story. If you truly believe that a number on a scale is going to make you happy and not what size clothing you're fitting in or how you're looking or how you're feeling or whatever it is, if you truly believe that the number on the scale is going to dictate how you feel, well, that would be called an like a body dysmorphia disorder for starters, because the number on the scale does not dictate anything more than your exertion of mass on the earth, considering our gravitational pull and all that kind of stuff. It's just a scientific number that means nothing except the meaning that you have assigned to it. So if you've assigned to it that I am 65 kilos and I'm fat and I will only be thin or I will only be happy when I'm 55 kilos or whatever it is, then that's purely your meaning that you've assigned to it. Apart from that, it actually has no meaning. So if that's all that you're going to concern yourself with, you're going to struggle a lot, because you're going to find yourself rebounding constantly. You're going to find yourself going up in weight, and then you'll, get really, really strict, and you'll exercise heaps, and you'll, kind of go on like a binge of healthiness, I guess. And then, of course, you're going to rebound from that, because nobody wants to eat steamed chicken and broccoli every single meal of the day whilst exercising the same amount every single day and not having any excitement, basically. So there's a happy medium there, and that happy medium is to get into the weight training as soon as possible, to start building that muscle, to start building that fire of metabolism in there. However, don't expect that any PT is going to be able to write you a fat loss program for the gym. That is not a thing. That does not exist. You can absolutely write you programs for different times of different stages of fat loss. For example, someone who's new, I would always write them a basic program, try and encourage them to come in more often, because a lot of people think, I'm going to come in twice a week and get really great results. You're not. I'm sorry, that's just not the fact. If you want to see actual tangible results in a short space of time, you're going to need to be committing to at least 3-4 times a week, if not more. 3 is like a bare minimum. More so 4 or 5 days a week if you really want to see results reasonably quickly. Otherwise, you're just not going to see them. You will see them eventually, don't get me wrong, but most people do not have the patience for that. Most people come into the gym, they go, I want to lose weight, I'm going to come in twice a week, and in 3-4 months' time, not much has changed, and they give up because they don't realise that, twice a week isn't going to do it. I'm sorry. Twice a week is not even quite enough for maintenance. So once you get to a stage where you're really happy with the way your body looks, twice a week's not really even enough to be doing workouts to maintain what you have. You'll still be losing, basically. So it's definitely not going to cause you to make progress, right? All right. I feel like I've gone on so many tangents because I just have so much to say about this. So let me try and bring it back to the center of what I was talking about, so that I can stay on point, and so that I can get this basic part out to as many people as possible, and to get it through to you, especially if you're in this position now that you want to lose weight or lose body fat, and you're thinking, I'm going to go join a gym, and you're going to go see the induction person or the PT or whatever, and you're going to say, I want to lose weight. Here's why whatever program they give you is not a fat loss program. As much as you might say that that's what you want, and I'm sure that they understand, for most people do understand what that means. A fat loss program is in terms of your diet, in terms of your nutrition. So the PT is not going to be able to write you a diet plan, because that's not what we're qualified for. That's not what we're not nutritionists, we're not dietitians, so we can't do that. We can definitely suggest things, and don't get me wrong, there's going to be plenty of PTs out there that have absolutely phenomenal experience in the field. However, it's not actually the area of expertise if they haven't actually done their qualification in nutrition or in dietetics, something like that. Then it's just not actually what they specialize in, right? It's same as, trying to go to a PT and be like, I've been, lifting weights for 10 years. Yeah, but have you actually studied this? Have you actually got the qualification? It's a different kind of thing, right? Not to mention, legally and everything. However, they can write you a program for the gym, for sure. But if you've come to them and said, I'm going to come in twice a week or even 3 times a week, and I want to lose body fat, whatever they write you is not going to cause you to lose body fat. The only thing that's going to cause you to lose body fat is fixing up your diet in a way where you're eating less than what you need, and your body is slowly burning through those fat stores. That is it. And this is not a day-to-day thing. You should not be losing half a kilo or a kilo every day. You might be lucky if you're doing it properly and in a way that's going to actually work for you and last, then maybe half a kilo a week, if that, for a female. For a male, sometimes it's more, right? But it's not going to be every week. Some weeks are going to vary, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more that goes into it. And once again, I come back to this point of it's a scale. Like, it doesn't actually equate to body fat loss, for example. If you've lost half a kilo from one week to another, that's not going to be just half a kilo of fat. That's not how it works. It's not a magic scale that can tell you exactly what you've lost. You will have lost a bit of water with that. You would have lost maybe a bit of muscle, depending what stage you're at, that kind of stuff. Like, there's just so much more that goes into it. However, over time, obviously, if you're getting smaller in one way or another, your weight will come down. How much? Who knows? But at the end of the day, are you attached to a number on a scale? Because if you are, then you seriously need to chat with someone about that, because that's all in your head, and it's not a good place to be if you're relying on a number on a scale to make you happy. Or do you want to feel great in your own skin? Do you want to wear particular, like a size smaller or something, because you just don't feel good in this size? You feel too big. You feel you're not energetic enough. You can't move around as fast. You can't get everything done that you want to. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's tangible. That's stuff that you can work with. Everybody should feel absolutely energetic and vibrant and go, go, go as much as they want to. So if that's your goal, awesome. That'll work. Let me take a sip. All right. So to pull it back again one more time. If your goal is fat loss, the gym is not the place to get it. Here is what the gym is great for. It is great for building muscle, right? So this is what you want. If you want to look toned and defined, you need to build muscle. You can't flex fat. It is great for fitness. You're not going to get fit through diet alone. Doesn't matter what you're eating. Doesn't matter what diet plan you go on. You are not going to get fit. To get fit, you need to sweat. You need to make your heart work. The only way that you get fit is by pushing your heart. It's just like a muscle. The harder you work it, the fitter it gets. So when you're pushing yourself, when you're sweating a lot, when you're puffing really deeply, shallow, getting really, really hot and puffy, basically, then you're working hard. Your heart rate's up really high. You're stressing your heart in a good way, in the sense that you're working it and it's getting stronger. That's what fitness is. That's what makes the difference between being able to just get around and do your day-to-day activities and have lots of energy and have lots of go, 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 right? So fitness, that's it. Something you're not going to get through through your diet alone. And no, that's pretty much it. Yeah, muscle and fitness. Fat loss is not something that happens with an exercise. It's not something that happens in a gym setting. It'll happen, of course, as part of it, and having a good exercise regime that focuses on weight training to build muscle, to increase your metabolism, to make you smaller and leaner and tighter and whatever else you want. That's going to help all in like a conducive with each other. But that's not where it's going to happen. At the end of the day, you've got to be monitoring what you're eating, working out a plan that works for you, and making sure that it's sustainable. That's the biggest thing. Is so many people, you can pick any plan you want, and I say this all the time. You can pick any plan you want, any diet plan you want, and within reason, pretty much any of them will work, because they're all pretty much based on you eating less, and they'll work for as long as you do, for as long as you stick to it. And when you stop, when you decide that's enough and you've had enough and you hate this and this is crap, well, then it stops, and then you rebound and you go back, right? So as boring as it sounds, but finding a eating plan and a way of eating that actually suits you and that actually works with you in the long term is the short-term solution. Because otherwise you're just elongating this process of yo-yoing and cycling through being really, really hardcore and then basically falling off a bandwagon and rebounding and going round and round, and that just keeps going for however long you feel like it, doing it until you get a grip and you decide, no, I'm going to do something that works for me long term. I'm going to find a way to do this that I enjoy, that I actually look forward to, that I don't feel like I'm on a diet, but that I feel like this is a way I'd like to eat. This is a way that makes me happy. This is a way that makes my body feel fantastic. I'm not saying it's always easy. Same for me. Like, I don't always love every single moment of it, but the payoff long term is worth the short term sometimes. It doesn't mean that I don't get to eat food that I enjoy. Some of it changes as well. Some foods that I didn't used to enjoy, I will learn to enjoy. But that comes down to mindset, right? So you have to actually choose to decide that you're going to like particular foods. As long as you're like, oh no, gross, I hate vegetables, well, then you're just not going to like them. Doesn't matter what you do, because you've set your mind. You've set your mind to it. Whatever you set your mind to, you will get. And it's unfortunate a lot of time we set our minds unconsciously towards things, and we attract them and we get them, and we don't realize why, because we didn't think that we were actually attracting them, but we were, because it's unconscious. Not even unconscious. Sometimes we just do it out of habit. Okay. So to recap, do not go to a gym for fat loss. Go to a gym to get a great program that will strengthen you, that will build your muscle, that will increase your metabolism, that will help with fat loss, as well as your fitness. Like I said, you can definitely burn calories and everything, doing lots and lots of cardio, for example. However, your body does adapt. And when it gets used to long bouts of cardio, it will start to adapt to that level. And if you don't keep it up, you're going to put fat back on. And you're basically just going to have to keep increasing the amount of time that you're doing cardio to keep getting more and more results, which is very, very time consuming, because nobody is going to end up with 2 or 3 hours a day to be doing this, unless you were me a decade ago, where I was a uni student and had binge eating disorder and was combating that with exercise anorexia. Okay. So, and that's not a path that I recommend whatsoever, because it's very time consuming, incredibly bad for your health. And more to the point, I didn't actually look anything like I wanted to look anyway. So what I do recommend is, if you want to lose fat, start with you. Start with your diet. Start with getting something sorted in that department, and then go join a gym for the right reasons. Go and get your exercise, get your body looking and feeling fit, energetic, toned, all that kind of stuff. That's where the gym's going to do it. It's not going to happen through diet. You have to actually build muscle in the gym or whatever you're doing to do that. However, the fat loss is going to happen because of your energy expenditure in the end. So don't think that just because you've asked for a fat loss program and they've written you a fat loss program, that's going to give you, the exercise there is going to give you that fat loss from you going 3 times a week. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. All right, so let me know if you have questions about this, because I know I did go off on a few tangents, but I'm hoping that I did actually explain this well enough to kind of get it over to you, just how crucial this is. And if you know of anyone who you think might want to hear this or might really benefit from this, please share the video, because I'd love to. The more people I can get through to, the better, because it's just going to save so many people so much time, because there's only obviously however many people are seeing this right now and, you know, in the replay, then hopefully I'm helping you and I'm helping you change things for yourself. But at the end of the day, most people aren't going to get there. Most people are going to keep going back to the gym year in, year out, get really excited. Yep, I'm going to lose weight, join the gym. 3 months later, they've stopped coming, restart the next year or wherever it is that they do. And they don't actually understand why this isn't working, why they keep going to the gym to lose fat and it doesn't happen. So please, share. I would love to get this out more. And speaking of getting your diet and your diet and, what was I going to say? Nutrition in check. The If It Fits Your Macros and Flexible Dieting workshop that I'm running. So this is happening Saturday, 25th of February. Yes, that's correct, Saturday. From 1 till 5 p.m. It's in Melbourne. Now, at this stage, I'm not going to be running another one. So I know that I've had a few people who can't make it on that date. I'm going to see what I can do, but I can't guarantee it. So at this stage, I'm not looking at running another one. So if you want to get involved, here's what's going to be happening. It's going to be 4 hours workshop on Saturday, 25th of February here in Melbourne. So I'm going to be hiring out a conference room for us all. We've already got quite a few people booked in. So make sure if you want to join us, let me know ASAP. You can send me a private message just through Facebook is fine, and let me know. So it's $149 per person, or if you've got a friend or a family member that you want to bring with you as well, $250 for 2 of you. Right, and so what we're going to be covering on the day is going to be basically a sort of seminar sort of protocol at the beginning. So I'm going to actually take you through what If It Fits Your Macros is. So the general breakdown of this is that basically it's a way of counting your food in terms of the grams of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates that you're having, which are the 3 macronutrients that all food is made up of. And when you're someone who's active, when you're someone who wants a bit of muscle, a bit of definition, a bit of tone, you don't just want to, if you want to be fit and active and energetic, which I'm hoping you do, because at the end of the day, I don't know why you're here if you just want to not basically feel absolutely your best and look your absolute best, because you know that's what I'm about. I absolutely adore this, right? So if this sounds like you, that you'd like to also look and feel your best and have all the energy and have all the have the exact body you want and everything like that, this is basically the perfect way to eat for someone who is active and who is, you know, whether it's a gym goer or whether it's another fitness activity, whatever it is, because it actually looks at the macronutrients that you're eating aside from just looking at the overall calorie expenditure. So a lot of people that go on, for example, like a restricted calorie diet, will then just sort of fend for themselves, and they won't really pay attention whatsoever to what macronutrients they're eating, which a lot of the time means people end up very carb heavy because it is just something that we kind of default to a lot of the time. And the problem with that is it doesn't really help with protein synthesis. It doesn't really help with muscle building very effectively. It doesn't really help with energy. It doesn't really help with hormones when people are especially trying to go like low fat, which used to be like a fad thing a little while ago, although I know a lot of people still do it, unfortunately. When you go very low fat as well, your hormones stuff up, things don't work the way they're meant to, your hair, your skin, everything doesn't look the way you want it to. So this is basically similar to that, except that you actually got to be tracking those macronutrients. Now, the really awesome part of this is that it is completely sustainable and completely flexible. That's the other word for it, is flexible dieting, because you eat for your goals. You do not eat to starve yourself. You do not eat to cut out foods or anything like that. There's no rules about anything that you can't have. Like if you ask me, oh, but can I have pizza on this diet? Can I have wine on this diet? Can I have whatever? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, anything, literally anything is possible. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it, which is why I'm doing this workshop, because I'm going to run you through exactly how to make this work, how to make it sustainable when you're in a weight loss, fat loss stage, because that can be one of the trickier parts, because at the end of the day, like I said, you're going to have to eat less than what you need in order to lose fat, which for people, for some, especially for some females that are very short, little, then that is trickier, because obviously your body doesn't need as much. So there are ways, however, to work around it and make it very sustainable and very awesome for you as well. So this is what we're going to go through, all exactly how it works, all of the frequently asked questions that you will get over time that you will need to know. And then part of the workshop is we're actually going to sit down. So you're going to sit down and work through, I'm going to show you how to calculate these things, how to make it really simple for you, and you're going to have a go at actually planning your own eating plan. I know, crazy, right? But this is something that I really, really believe in, is that you have to be able to do this for yourself. At the end of the day, anyone can write your plan. I mean, you can get any friggin' diet plan that you want off the internet. Just seriously, just Google, whatever diet plan you want, and there will be one there. You'll find one for free, easy. But at the end of the day, it's just another diet plan that someone else has made and given you that you're going to be like, oh yeah, awesome, awesome. And then you're going to hate it after like a week or two maximum, probably. Or you might really love it, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand why you're doing it or how it works or how to put it together yourself, whatever diet plan, as much as you might love it for 2 weeks, you're not going to love it next year. You're not going to love it for 12 months, are you? Whereas learning to actually put this food together yourself in a way that's pretty basic, pretty simple, and very, very sustainable, very, travel happy, all that kind of stuff. It's not even that hard if you go on holidays a lot or if you travel a lot. Then this is exactly what you want, because this is going to help you exactly do that. Work out exactly what works for you, how it's going to work for you, and know how to change things up when you need to, and know that you're not going to have to cut out any particular food for the rest of your life, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to avoid the binge eating and the self-sabotage that comes with cutting out food and just going, no, I'm not allowed to have that. This isn't on my diet plan. Rah. All right, so like I said, if you want to know more details or if you want to book in, let me know, private message me here on Facebook, and I will get you booked in for that. And that's about it, I think. Again, if you have any questions about today's live stream, please let me know, because if you pop them down below, I'll definitely check them back later, and then I'll either reply to you if it's an easy answer, or I'll even talk about it on a future live stream so I can answer the questions. All right? Cool. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Have a fantastic weekend. I may or may not be doing a live stream tomorrow because I have got actually a seminar that I'm speaking at. So I dare say I will already have enough speaking going on that day. But I may come back and still be really full of energy and feel like doing another one for you. Who knows? All right, I will see you guys soon. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.